What's up guys, this is David from Bainy Media and today we'll be talking about the next generation of Switch. The Switch surprisingly has been around for 7 years now, which is crazy to me. It doesn't feel that long ago I was playing Breath of the Wild in bed just soaking 100 hours into that game. But now it's been 7 years, it's time for the Switch to go. We've had enough, it's time for the next generation console. Do I believe it will be the Switch 2? The Switch form factor, handheld, console hybrid? Absolutely I do. It's the perfect thing for Nintendo to do. They always had a handheld and a console, and the Switch was the perfect meld of that. All the studios working on one console. You don't have a split user base. 130 million people so far on the Switch. And Nintendo wants to see that move on to the next console. The only thing we know so far is that some developers got behind closed door demo at Gamescom apparently. Apparently they were showed off like a souped up version of Breath of the Wild to show off the new graphics of the system, and the Matrix demo to show what this console could really do compared to the Switch. And apparently he's using Nvidia's DLSS upscaling technology, which just makes games look better without it having to like use horsepower from the system. I'm not really sure how it works, but apparently at the end of the day it just makes games look better without having the actual horsepower in the system. So it doesn't need like a PS5 like structure for it to be look as good as like PlayStation, I want to say 5, maybe like really good PS4 games. But that's apparently what the rumors are for the in terms of like the tech and what this new console could do. Now, what I want to talk about is improvements we definitely need for this new Nintendo console. I think it needs a personality again when it comes to the UI and the homepage. Nintendo Switch was super simplistic. I think by design, I think they just wanted something clean, simple. You could go on the home screen, start the game, you're straight in, bish bash bosh. But we never got any added themes, we only had black and white. It was a surefire thing. We all thought the 3DS had themes, so why wouldn't the Switch have themes? We would pay money for them, it's easy money for them. Chuck a JPEG, a little sound in the background, but nope, it never came. So I think this is something they'll definitely add. And then folders as well. We never got folders. I don't know how. There's so many games you can buy for the Switch. I want to organize them into folders so I don't have to go to the right of the screen, go down, find a game I didn't play from 2 years ago. And then personality. When I talk about personality, when you think of the Wii menu, you're thinking of the soundtrack, you're thinking of music, you're thinking of the Wii Shop channel. Even the casual gamers know the Wii Shop channel song. Do you know the eShop music? Does the eShop even have music for the Switch? I don't even know, because a song doesn't come to my head. But for something like the Wii, something definitely does, and I think Nintendo needs to bring that back. Well, also, this new console needs more apps. Apps are everywhere. When I have them on my Chromecast, I can literally bounce between YouTube, Twitch, Netflix, Disney Plus. Can I do that on the Switch? No, absolutely not. I don't know why. If I was one of these streaming services and I saw there's 130 million plus user base on a system, do I want my app on there? Absolutely. Is it Nintendo saying, nah, we don't need apps, we just want our games on the console? Maybe. The only thing we got, I think, were YouTube, Twitch. I don't think we got Netflix. Definitely not in the UK, we didn't get Netflix. Not even in the internet browser. That one I do understand, because that leads its way to hacking consoles. And if you want to browse the internet, I'm not whipping out the Switch, I'm going to whip out my phone. But I think definitely more apps. And one app I'm thinking of in particular is Street Pass. Street Pass needs to come back 2024. I demand it. One of the best, I would say the best feature of the 3DS wasn't the 3D, it was Street Pass. Seeing that green light pop up was so exciting. You'd go out on your day, might be on the train, and then boom, you see the green light and you're like, ooh, a Nintendo fan is close to me. Can I see negatives from Nintendo's point of view? Be like, oh, if I walk past someone, then they know that other person has a Switch, and then it's a bit of a tricky situation. But coming from a pure gamer side, knowing there's Nintendo gamers you're walking past, you're exchanging gifts, puzzle pieces, is super fun, and I think Nintendo should really bring it back. Even if it's not on the Switch, if it's like an app on the phone that connects to the Switch, that makes more sense, especially when Nintendo wants more than mobile audience. A simple app like Street Pass, two phones, cross pass, connect via Bluetooth, whatever they need to do, so I can get stuff in my games. Getting those puzzle pieces of Street Pass games was super fun. It's probably one of the things I spent the most on my 3DS over the course of the 5 years I had the 3DS. So I think the next generation of console should definitely bring back Street Pass. Speaking of features from the 3DS, a camera. I think this new console will have a camera. I'm surprised the Switch never got a camera in the end, because that seems like a gimmick Nintendo would love to have. The Wii U had a camera, the 3DS had a camera. It allows for Nintendo to come up with more wacky ideas. They used it in the 3DS specifically for AR, as well as the front-facing camera for like filters. You can create your Mii. But I think Nintendo would want to stick their foot back in their augmented reality like pool again, especially with the success of Pokemon Go. I'm not going to say they're making Pokemon Go like 2 on the Switch, but having that a feature for Nintendo to play with, I think they would want to do that again. Be able to go around your home with the cameras, having like the Nintendo characters pop up in your living room. I think Nintendo would want that again with a more powerful console. The 3DS, you had to scan like these cards, and then like I remember one you put on the table, and then your table would turn into like a game board. I could really see Nintendo going back to that and having more fun. And then you could also have like the Nintendo characters. You could have like Mario, Samus, and take pictures of them. I think Nintendo would really do well with that in 2024 and beyond, going into more go back to augmented reality again. What else needs improving? The D-pad. Ugh! When I look at that D-pad, it grosses me out. I don't like it on the Joy-Cons. Let's just take the one from the Pro Controller, whack it on the Nintendo Switch 2. Even if they have to split it up like the DualSense does, like it's still split, and if they still did the Joy-Con way, you can still play with segmented buttons. Because that's a good D-pad, but the one on the Switch, nada. And triggers, they could definitely steal from the PS5 and have like adaptive triggers. I think that's something Nintendo would want to play with as well. And another thing that definitely needs improving are the Joy-Cons. My god, we don't need Joy-Con drift in the next generation. Please, Nintendo. I'm sure they'll learn from their mistake. I would take the form factor of the Joy-Cons being able to play hand separate is the way I think games should be played. I can just lounge back, have the controllers in my hand, and just relax. I can choose if I want to play the Pro Controller if I want for like games that fit more that. But more of a casual games, I think 2 separate controllers is just a way forward for Nintendo ever since the Wii Remote and Nunchuck days. I think take the Joy-Con, take all the stuff you don't need. They can take out the IR camera, we don't need that. Take out the HD rumble if we have the triggers, it basically is the same thing if we have that. And maybe more like not as small, bit beefier Joy-Cons. I think that's fine for the next generation. You've nailed it with the separate controllers. You don't need to change the wheel on the controllers. If they want to have more like Pro Controller split in half for like their version to sell, go for it. Now, what's it going to look like at the end of the day? I don't know. I'm not a console designer. This was my little quick mock-up of what I think it could be. A little flip-up screen, allowing DS and 3DS games to be backwards compatible in the Nintendo Switch Online. Do I think they're actually going to do that? I don't know if they're going to go back to the 2 screens. It's a nice thought to have, especially with Nintendo wanting to push Nintendo Switch Online to the next generation. We had the president of Nintendo say back in June last year, he said, regarding the move from Nintendo Switch to the next generation platform, we'll make good use of the Nintendo account to make this a smooth transition for our customers. Which basically means for me, everything we have for Nintendo Switch Online, plus the expansion pack, will be moved to the next Nintendo console. That means all our Game Boy, Nintendo 64, NES, Super Nintendo games, it's just going to move along. We're going to have that library right off the bat. We're going to have Mario Kart Booster Course Pass, that Animal Crossing game, anything else they've added, that comes with you day one. Day one, you're going to have that entire library available to you. It's like a subscription. Well, it's a subscription service. I'm going to say it's like Netflix, But it kind of is a Netflix of Nintendo. This is something we wanted for years, and we finally have it. And I don't think we all realize we basically have it in Netflix subscription for Nintendo's old games, and it's going to be available for us for the foreseeable future. It's not going to go away. They can't. I was about to say they can't take it away, but it is Nintendo. They make weird decisions. I don't think they're going to take anything away from us. If they do have these two screens, that's DS and 3DS, within probably the first year or two, have that catalog as well. And maybe eventually they get around to bringing GameCube games after they've done with this like round of remasters they've had with Metroid Prime, the Pikmin games, they had Sunshine with All Stars. I think once they've got their fix of remaking the games they wanted to, they go like, oh, well, the rest of these GameCube games, now we can put it on Nintendo Switch Online. Now, when am I thinking this console is going to launch? I think it's going to be in the September, end of the year time frame. I think that September works well for them. They could have like two big hitters for launch, maybe a 3D Mario, and then a more casual game, like a Nintendo Switch Resort or something more casual, but you have the 3D Mario there. And then October, November, December, they can have hit after hit after hit and continue that into 2025. So November, we have like a Pokemon game. October, maybe like a 2D Zelda. December, something else like a Donkey Kong game. Who knows? But that's what I think Nintendo's going to do. I think June's a bit too early because I think we have like Luigi's Mansion. I think we're going to have a couple more releases announcing like the February Direct to show us what's going to hold us over until the next Nintendo console. Now, big question is backwards compatibility. Do I think it's going to be compatible for the older Nintendo Switch games? Absolutely. I think cartridges aren't going to go away. I think it's going to be a 3DS situation with the DS. It's going to be the same sort of cartridge, maybe a bit beefier, with a little notch on the side to stop you from playing in your old Switch. But your old Switch games, you can just pop it straight into the slot, play them like usual. I think it would be stupid to have this entire Switch lineup and you have something very similar to a Switch and you're telling consumers, no, you can't play it on there. I think Nintendo is smarter than that. I don't think they're going to banish that entire lineup on the shelves that you can't play for something that looks quite similar to the Switch, has the same hybrid concept as the Switch, and being like, nah, you can't play the games on there. I think it will be backwards compatible. All your eShop downloads, that will just bring it over to the next system. Hopefully the system is quite simple, like it used to be back in the day. The Pikmin bring it over from your Switch to your Switch 2. Something very simple, very cute. And finally, what is the name of this new console? We all calling it the Switch 2. Will it be called Switch 2? Definitely not. With all of us making videos with Switch 2 in the title, I think Nintendo looks at that and goes, if people start Googling Switch 2, all these videos are coming up and it's not talking about what we just announced. I think they'll come up with a completely brand new name that none of us will guess. And we'll be like, huh? And then 1 year down the line, you're like, yeah, that kind of made sense for them to do. Most people say just call it Super Switch, Switch Ultra. I think Nintendo likes to have fun with their names. So we've gone from Wii to GameCube to Nintendo 64. I think the Switch name stays. I think it'll stay. But I think we get like another verb to add to that. My idea was Switch Flip. Something like that. Something that they can Google. People can Google and it'll be a unique thing on the day it gets announced that you're not going to get a bunch of videos confusing their messaging. So that's why I think no Switch 2. I don't think Nintendo really does numbers like PlayStation does. Even though I think that'd be easier for them just to promote it's Switch 2, Switch 3, Switch 4. But then I think that locks them into a box of always having the hybrid console and it doesn't allow them to possibly change it in the future. So those are my thoughts of what's coming for the next generation console. That's definitely coming out this year for Nintendo. If you're excited as much as I am, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's grow the channel this year. I'm so ready for this next Nintendo console. I'm going to be there day one, hopefully in New York when it gets announced. I made this promise now. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's bring up this Nintendo hype all year round. See you guys. Bye.